daily Arizona Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
There's two teams in the National League I want to cover as we talk about teams that got off to surprising starts, and we wonder whether or not they're flukes or not. We talked a lot about the Cardinals' bad start, and the rest of and now the Cardinals have won 8 of their last 10, and while they're still 6 games under 500 as of this recording, they are crawling back into the race because the first place Brewers and the second place Pirates have basically said, "Come on, there's room, get in the pool."
Mm-hmm.
The Pirates are two things. One of the biggest surprises of the first third of the year. They still are of a winning record at this point. The fact that I have to say that shows you what kind of slump they've been in. I also think they're one of the most entertaining teams to watch. They have incredibly likable players on that team. But you're starting to see, as of this recording, there are 2 games over 500. But still only a game out of first. What are your thoughts of this team, and are they going to be hanging around, or is this going to be like the Royals a couple of years ago that we forgot they were good in going into May?
Yeah, I like the Pirates entering the season. They were one of the teams I said maybe hit the over on their win total, but I still thought that was going to be like a mid-70 win team, like 74, 75 wins, because their pace after the month of May, because we might forget, they were 20-9 after the month of May. But so far after this Dbacks loss, I think they're 24-22 because after the month of May, they've only won 4 of their last 18 games, I believe. They're 4-14 in what month are we in? May. They're 4-14 in the month, or 4-13, excuse me.
Yeah.
So this is a team that's been struggling. You look at their offense over the last 2-3 weeks. Their offensive numbers have come down in a big way. Mitch Keller has been a godsend for that team this year. Guys like Andrew McCutchen have been playing above their skis, Connor Joes, but you just look at some of their players and you feel like they're going to start to regress as the year progresses. Like Andrew McCutchen at 36 years old, can he still keep up this all-star form that he's been on? I don't know. Connor Joe, 30 years old, over 800 OPS. He's looked like a stud this year. I don't think he could probably keep that up. Brian Reynolds, he's an all-star level player. He'll still be good for this team as the season progresses. But overall, you look at that lineup, I think they just got a lot of guys who are playing way better than the level that they're actually capable at. I look at their rotation after Mitch Keller. I don't think it's very strong. The bullpen has actually some solid pieces with David Bednar, who's been fantastic so far this season.
Yeah,
but
he's been great.
So this Pirates team, I do think they can pitch. I think they could keep a lot of ball games close. I just don't think they have the offensive weapons as the season progresses. I think that offense is really starting to come down, as we've already seen. I think that's going to be the area that really holds them back as we start to enter the postseason, the stretch run of the season, as we enter August and September. I think they're not going to be able to score enough runs. I think we're going to look at them like how we looked at the Miami Marlins the last couple of years. We're like, that team can pitch. They're frisky. They can win a game against you, but more often than not, they're probably not going to put up enough runs on the scoreboard to win enough ball games to actually make the postseason.
I would love to see the Pirates. Obviously, there is no like Juan Soto on the block this year, and even Juan Soto hasn't been Juan Soto this year.
No,
but
he might be on the block. Who knows?
I know, but like a name you hear, someone like Will Myers, who's not exactly, no one's getting ready to have Will Myers rehearse his Cooperstown speech, but he can be a streaky hitter. I just would love to see the Pirates acquire one professional bat in the middle of that lineup, because you just see, you see their offense just goes right into the toilet, and it's you see Mitch Keller pitched a wonderful game the other day, and then one bad inning from the bullpen, and you just knew the Pirates weren't going to come back, and you just felt if you have one solid professional hitter in that lineup, that they'll be able to avoid some of that. But here we are. I'd love them to make that trade sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and there's some interesting guys who are going to be free agents this upcoming season that maybe you could get a little rental for the next few months. Maybe like a Rowdy Tellez, who is not like some sexy superstar, but can definitely hit some bombs for you in the middle of your lineup. Maybe
Yeah.
someone, I don't even know. Brandon Lowe has a club option for this year. Tampa Bay, they don't like to re-sign their players to big contracts. Willie Adames is going to be a free agent after this year. So there's like some interesting above average major leaguers who are not all-stars or maybe borderline all-stars like a Willie Adames, who you could definitely get for the cheap and not have to break your whole prospect farm system up to go acquire them.
No, and I'm not even talking about like, trading away top blue chippers, but maybe a mid-tier prospect you can let go of to just get one or two more professional hitters in that lineup. I mean, it just seems like by the time you get past, the top 3 or 4, it just seems like, easy out after easy out, and it just puts too much pressure on the Reynolds and everyone like that, and at the top of the lineup. All right, well, look, I got one more we got to do,
All right.
and you know what team it is.
What team is it?
Let's see. Who do we have here as our guest today?
You gotta watch yourself.
Everyone in their cow thought it was going to be a Dodger San Diego Padres rumble in 2023. Well, the Padres have been thankful they're in a division with the Colorado Rockies, so they don't look up as a last place team. But the Dbacks.
Yes.
Now the Dodgers have indeed passed them, but there's only one game separates Los Angeles and Arizona in the loss column. The D-backs have been playing above their expectations. And what do you think about this team? Is this a good Diamondbacks team, or is this a team that has taken advantage of the Padres off to the bad start and just slid right into second place?
I mean, I think it is a good D-backs team. I think they definitely have some flaws and areas on this team that they need to improve on, like some more rotation depth after a Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. Hopefully, a Zach Davies can help some of those issues. But in terms of what this D-backs team can actually do on the field, like they're one of the highest scoring teams in the National League. They have the third best record. They're one of the fastest teams in baseball. They have one of the best defenses in baseball. So this team just plays pretty good baseball. They don't strike out a lot. Maybe you want to see them draw a few more walks, but they're one of the lowest strikeout teams in Major League Baseball. They steal a ton of bases. They're great at taking extra bases. They are one of the highest run scoring teams in Major League Baseball because they are super clutch at runners in scoring position. They're basically the anti-Padres. They're very fast and they come through in the clutch and they play great defense. A couple of things that the Padres don't do. Their rotation after Zach Allen, Merrill Kelly falls off a little bit because it's a lot of youth. The bullpen has could use some upgrades as well. But overall, this overall team is very good. I don't think they're ready for a World Series or anything like that. But the front office has talked about a sense of urgency. We saw it when they let go and DFA'd Madison Bumgarner. Like, we're not going to put players on the field that are not helping this team. They sent down Alec Thomas, who was the number 2 prospect in the organization a couple years ago. He's been struggling the whole year. They sent him down. Jake McCarthy, who was a revelation for the D-backs last season. They sent him down after like 3 weeks because he wasn't getting it done. And now they called up Dominic Fletcher, another rookie outfielder who has been phenomenal so far for this D-backs team and is top 5 in the FanDuel Rookie of the Year odds voting, of course, behind Corbin Carroll, who should be the favorite to win the NL Rookie of the Year. So this team is talented. They're balanced. They got young talent like Corbin Carroll and the Fletchers. They got veterans like the Martes and the Christian Walkers. You got studs in your rotation with the Gallen, Merrill Kellys. And I think they have enough stars at different positions with really solid depth where this team could actually make some noise. Do I think they can make a World Series? Probably not. But could they win a round or maybe 2? I definitely think that's in the cards for the D-backs this year.
I think of the surprise teams, I think they are the best, the one that has the best chance. I'm just saying that because you're on this podcast with me. I like they have 2 solid pitchers at the top, but you're right. The type of game that they play, that is that very aggressive style, puts people on their heels. I think they'll steal a few wins that you're not expecting, but I also think that they can take advantage of the fact that the Central is a bit of a mess. You're seeing Philadelphia, they're not off to the start that you would think they'd be, and really taking advantage of San Diego doesn't get their act together. I honestly, the way that they've been playing, and it's not just that they've had a couple players having like MVP caliber season that are carrying them, but rather it is a style of play. It's almost like an organizational shift for this team, and they're playing smart baseball. They're playing good fundamental baseball. They're not giving away outs. They're forcing teams to make the throw. And for that reason, I think that of all the surprise teams, I think the Diamondbacks, do I think Los Angeles is going to beat them? Yeah, I do. I think LA is a better
That's
team
fair.
overall. But if you wake up and if I saw the Diamondbacks finish this year with 92 wins, the way that they're playing, that wouldn't stun me right now,
Yeah,
which is
and
not the year you thought we were going to have this year with the D-backs.
definitely not. I was hoping, maybe a 500 season. I thought that would have been very successful, but I
I
think
thought that, yeah, I didn't, again, I mean, it's not, but I thought this was going to be a 500 team because they had decent pitching,
mhm.
but I didn't think they had any of the talent to score runs.
Yeah, I thought offense was going to be a struggle. If you told me 81 was going to be their final record entering the season, I would have definitely signed up for that. But now my expectations might be a little bit higher because a good mark of a team I think they could use for the D-backs, they don't mess around with these series. Like when they play the Oaklands and the Pirates of the world, these lowlier baseball teams, they take 2 out of 3. They don't lose to bad teams, and
No.
They've lost 3 series this year, but only to 2 teams. The San Diego Padres, who always have the D-backs number. It doesn't matter what their record is. They just seem to own the D-backs. Then the Miami Marlins, who are not a great team, but they are above 500. So
Yeah,
it's
they're a
like,
good team.
so they're solid.
Marlins have talent. The Marlins have a lot
Yeah.
of talent on that team. Yeah.
Marlins have talent. I don't think they're a playoff team, but they definitely have talent. So it's like when you've only lost to 2 teams the whole year and we're 40, 50 games into this. I mean, I don't know, maybe 50 games into this, maybe more. I don't know. Entering that 1/3 mark, as we talked about. Like the D-backs don't play around with their food. They take 2 out of 3 at least from every series, and they've only lost 3 series the entire year to only 2 teams. I like this D-back squad a lot, and I think come the deadline, they will be buyers. I think this is a team that will try to go out there and upgrade and maybe add not a star, but at least a solid veteran in that rotation and still try to add another bullpen guy because you can never have enough relievers in the back end of your bullpen, especially guys that could throw hard. So I think the D-backs are going to go out there and actually take this season seriously and actually build a contender as the best they can, at least for 2023.
You're building contender right now. Let's wrap this up here. Miller Thomas, where can people find you?
Follow me on social media at CreatorThomas24 or look up Locked On Diamondbacks, both Twitter and Instagram in the little search bar. We're on all your podcasting platforms, of course, and we're on YouTube. When you search up Locked On Diamondbacks, please hit subscribe on there.
And you can follow us at Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter and Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. Talking about the Diamondbacks and the Pirates and some surprising contenders. Who's for real, who's not. There's been a Locked On MLB Diamondbacks and Locked On MLB crossover. He's Miller Thomas. I'm your pal Sully. Let's fist pump for another week.
Boom.